Do you believe old age means weakness? The truth is, strength can come back. It all starts with 9 tiny grains, but enough to change your golden years. Old age doesn't mean weakness. These 9 ancient grains can change the way you walk, the way you live every day. Let's start this journey together right now. Hello, my friend. My name is Dr. Robert Haron. I'm 60 years old, and for more than 35 years, my life has been dedicated to walking alongside men and women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. People searching for a way to hold on to their strength, their independence, and the simple joys of everyday living. I've worked everywhere, from small Midwest clinics to major hospitals like Mayo Clinic. And if there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. Aging itself isn't the enemy. How we nourish our bodies determines how we grow older. Have you ever felt yourself getting weaker day by day? Maybe climbing just a few steps leaves your heart racing, or standing up from a chair takes more effort than it used to. Many people shrug and say, that's just old age. But from a medical perspective, that's not the full truth. What you're experiencing is sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And here's the part that breaks my heart. Your muscles don't simply disappear because you're older. They fade because your muscle cells are starving for the right fuel to rebuild and recover. The good news? That can be changed. I've seen it firsthand. One of my patients, a 75-year-old gentleman who needed a cane just to walk around his house, regained his strength after just a few weeks of changing his diet. He stood up tall without help, not because of expensive pills, not because of punishing workouts, but because of something much simpler. Ancient grains. Foods that have quietly sustained human life for thousands of years. Tiny as they are, quinoa, oats, wild rice, buckwheat. They work like bricks, slowly rebuilding the bridge that connects you back to the strength you thought was gone. And that's the real good news. Muscle loss is not irreversible if you feed your body what it truly needs. You see, most people hear grains and think of starch, bread, rice, maybe a bowl of porridge. But the truth is, grains are not just filler for the stomach. Inside these small kernels is a hidden treasure of nutrition that modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Some grains carry complete proteins with all the essential amino acids your body needs to rebuild the fibers that time has weakened. Many are rich in antioxidants, silent guardians protecting your muscles from the quiet damage of aging. And then there are the minerals, magnesium, iron, zinc, each one a tiny building block, patching up the leaks where strength has been slipping away. I've seen the sparkle in a patient's eyes when her legs stop trembling after a few weeks of adding these grains to her meals. I've heard an older gentleman say, "Doctor, it feels like my legs have finally woken up," simply because he swapped in ancient grains at dinner time. Moments like these remind me, our bodies never truly abandon us. They're simply waiting for us to give them the right fuel. And that's why today, I want to share with you the 9 most powerful grains for rebuilding muscle after 60. They're not miracle pills or secret formulas. They're humble, unassuming, and yet they hold the power to change the way you walk, the way you stand, and even the way you experience growing older. Let me tell you about the very first grain on our list, quinoa. The name might sound exotic, but in truth, it's been around for thousands of years. The Inca warriors once called it the golden grain, and only now is modern science beginning to understand why they valued it so highly. What makes quinoa so remarkable is that it's one of the very few grains that provides a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids. When you're young, your body can sometimes get by if 1 or 2 are missing. But after 60, when natural protein synthesis begins to slow, having the full set is like giving your muscles a clear language, a direct instruction: rebuild, repair, grow. No confusion, no delay, just a strong signal to start building strength again. I think of one of my patients, Maria, a 71-year-old retired elementary school teacher. She loved her backyard garden, but just a few minutes of bending down to pull weeds would leave her legs cramping painfully. She once told me, "Doctor, it feels like my body has betrayed me." I suggested something simple: swap out her usual white rice at dinner for a bowl of quinoa, cooked with vegetables and a little olive oil. She wasn't convinced, but she agreed to try. 2 weeks later, she came back and said the cramps had eased. After a month, she was kneeling comfortably in her garden again, tending to her roses without fear of pain. Quinoa doesn't just supply the building blocks for muscle, it's also rich in magnesium and iron, which help your blood deliver oxygen to your muscles and support your heart in pumping more efficiently. I often tell my patients, eating quinoa is like filling your body's engine with clean fuel. It runs smoother, stronger, and longer. Have you ever felt those moments when your muscles ache, or when standing up feels like your legs don't quite belong to you anymore? Imagine if something as simple as one meal could help you reclaim some of that control, to bring back the joy in small daily tasks you thought were slipping away. That's the true power of quinoa. Not a miracle pill, not magic, but a return to what nature has been offering us all along. Now let's move on to the second grain, oats. You've probably seen them before in a simple bowl of oatmeal at breakfast. But I want you to think of oats in a different way, not just as a quick, easy meal, but as a silent shield, protecting your muscles as they age day by day. Inside oats is something truly unique, a compound called avenanthramides. It's a rare antioxidant found almost nowhere else in nature. Picture your muscles like old bricks, slowly worn down by time and pressure. Avenanthramides act like a fresh coat of paint, sealing in strength and protecting what's left. They calm hidden inflammation, and they guard the mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells. So you still have the energy to walk another mile or climb another set of stairs without trembling. I think of Joan, a 66-year-old patient of mine. She once told me, "Doctor, even just washing the dishes leaves my arms exhausted. And when I try to walk to the park, I have to stop halfway to catch my breath." Her doctor told her to exercise more. But how do you exercise when you barely have the strength? Her son suggested something simple: change her breakfast. Instead of white bread toast, he made her half a cup of warm oatmeal topped with berries and flaxseed. She wasn't excited about it, but she gave it a try. Within a few days, Joan noticed her energy didn't rise and crash anymore. The soreness began to fade. And within weeks, she was walking to the park and back without stopping once. She came back to me with a smile I hadn't seen on her face in years. Oats don't just feed your muscles. They nourish your heart and your gut, the two systems that decide how well your body absorbs and uses nutrients. In other words, oats are like a quiet companion. They don't show off, but they're always there, supporting you through every step, every small victory. And maybe you felt it too. That feeling when even a short walk home without stopping feels like a triumph. That's what oats can give you. Not a sudden miracle, but steady, gentle strength. The kind of strength that matches the rhythm of life you deserve at this stage of your journey. Now let's talk about a grain that many people overlook, yet carries extraordinary power: wild rice. Don't be fooled by the name. Wild rice isn't really rice at all. It's a type of aquatic grass that once sustained Native American tribes for generations. And today, science confirms what they seemed to know all along. In the fight against muscle loss, wild rice acts like a switch that wakes up the strength inside you that's been quietly fading. What makes wild rice so unique is its unusually high content of leucine, an amino acid I like to call the messenger. Imagine this. You can eat plenty of protein, but after 60, your body often stops hearing the signal to rebuild muscle. Leucine is like a firm knock at the door, telling your muscle cells, wake up, repair, grow stronger again. And the remarkable part is, Wild rice delivers that signal naturally, without the need for medication. I think of George, a 76-year-old man I once treated. Independent, proud, the kind of man who liked to fix his own fence and mow his own lawn. But over time, even standing up from his recliner became a struggle. He had to rock back and forth 3 times just to get to his feet. Eventually, he needed a walker, something he hated. One evening, his son cooked him a stew made with wild rice, vegetables, and lentils. George enjoyed it and began eating it a few times a week. 3 weeks later, he told me he was able to rise from his chair steadily without grabbing the armrest. By the end of the 2nd month, he set his walker aside. With a grin, he said, "Doc, I don't know what's in that black rice, but it's stronger than your pills." Wild rice doesn't just provide leucine, it's also rich in zinc, magnesium, and plant-based omega-3s, a combination that reduces inflammation, protects your joints, and nourishes your muscles. And unlike white rice, which spikes blood sugar and drains your energy, wild rice digests slowly, releasing a steady flow of fuel, like a calm river that quietly feeds your body hour after hour. Have you ever wished for the day when you could stand up from a chair without pushing with your arms, or walk through your garden without your legs trembling? With wild rice, that vision isn't far-fetched. It's proof that sometimes the greatest strength is hidden in the smallest gifts nature provides. Now let's turn to a grain, or rather a bean, that's much more familiar: soybeans. You've probably heard of soy milk or tofu, but what many people don't realize is that soy is often called the king of plant-based protein. And for anyone over 60, it can be a powerful ally in the fight against muscle loss. What makes soy so special is its incredibly high protein content, about 36 to 40%, nearly on par with lean meat. But more importantly, it's a complete protein containing all the essential amino acids your body needs. That includes leucine, the amino acid that tells your muscles to grow, and lysine, which is often missing in other grains. So when you eat soy, your muscles aren't just being fed, they're being fully reactivated, like flipping the on switch for strength. I think of Linda, a 68-year-old patient of mine. After menopause, she told me she felt weaker, struggled with joint pain, and couldn't sleep well at night. I suggested something simple. Instead of only drinking black coffee in the morning, try adding a glass of warm soy milk. At first, she was hesitant. She thought soy milk was more for younger people. But within just a few weeks, she told me her sleep had become deeper, her joint pain had eased, and most importantly, her legs felt stronger and steadier when walking down the stairs. That's not surprising. Beyond protein, soy contains isoflavones, plant compounds that help balance hormones. This is especially valuable for women after menopause, when estrogen naturally drops, and both muscles and bones become more vulnerable. Isoflavones act like a small bridge, helping the body cross that valley of health so muscles don't get left behind. I often tell my patients, think of soy as a quiet, reliable friend. It doesn't shout for attention. It isn't expensive or flashy, but it's always there, lifting you up from the inside out. Whether it's a warm glass of soy milk at breakfast or a simple tofu stir-fry at dinner, soy is one of the gentlest and most effective ways to nourish your body. And maybe you felt it yourself, waking up in the morning and realizing your legs don't feel quite as heavy as they did yesterday. That's the quiet gift soybeans can offer, a humble seed delivering strength, stability, and health to your later years. Now let's talk about a grain that almost every household in America already has: whole wheat. You've probably had it in whole wheat bread, crackers, or even pasta. But what many people don't realize is that when you keep the bran and the germ intact, you're also keeping the true soul of the grain, the part packed with real nutrition. You see, when wheat is refined into white flour, most of the good stuff is stripped away. The protein, fiber, B vitamins, zinc, iron, and magnesium. What's left is mostly empty starch. It fills you up for a while, but it starves your body of the fuel it needs to keep your muscles strong. Whole wheat, on the other hand, gives you not just complex carbs for steady energy, but also the foundation your muscles need to repair and recover, especially after 60. I remember Frank, a 70-year-old retired construction worker. He'd eaten white bread his whole life. Every morning, a few slices with butter and jam. But as time went on, he told me that even though he ate full meals, he still felt drained. His arms and legs grew weaker, and after just a few minutes of walking, he was short of breath. I suggested something simple. Switch his white bread for whole wheat. He chuckled and said, "Doc, you really think changing bread is going to help?" But he agreed to give it a try. After all, what did he have to lose? 3 weeks later, Frank returned to my office with a rare smile on his face. "I'm not saying I feel like I'm 20 again," he told me, "but now I can climb the stairs in my house without stopping halfway. Feeling my strength come back, that's a real gift." What Frank experienced came from the quiet work of whole wheat's bran and germ, supplying iron to carry oxygen to his muscles, zinc and B vitamins to turn food into usable energy, and fiber to keep his gut healthy so his body could absorb nutrients more efficiently. Have you ever thought that something as simple as the bread you choose could decide whether you feel weak or strong that day? With whole wheat, it's absolutely possible. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest difference in your health comes from the smallest choices, like the kind of bread you put on your breakfast table. Now let's move on to a grain that's familiar, yet often overlooked: brown rice. You've probably heard people say it's healthier, but few really understand why. The difference is simple. When rice is milled down into white rice, it loses the bran and the germ, the very parts that hold almost all the vitamins, minerals, and fiber. What's left is just the starchy core, which spikes your blood sugar quickly and leaves you feeling tired. Brown rice, on the other hand, keeps its soul intact, delivering slow, steady energy along with minerals that nourish your body from the ground up. I think of Helen, a 73-year-old patient of mine. She used to tell me, "Doctor, every time I finish a meal, I just want to lie down. I don't have the strength to do anything." Her blood sugar was constantly swinging up and down, leaving her legs shaky and her mood unsettled. I suggested something simple. Replace part of her white rice at dinner with brown rice. At first, she complained it was too hard, too chewy, but her daughter learned to soak it overnight and cook it slowly in chicken broth. A few weeks later, Helen returned, her eyes brighter. "Doctor," she said, "I don't feel that crash after eating anymore. I can take a walk around the house, even spend some time in my garden again." What had changed? It was the magnesium, manganese, and B vitamins in brown rice, helping her muscles contract and relax efficiently, easing fatigue and speeding recovery. The fiber in brown rice also kept her gut healthy, allowing her body to absorb protein and minerals more effectively. The foundation for rebuilding muscle. I often tell my patients, eating brown rice is like choosing a road that's longer, but gentler. You may go slower, but you'll walk more steadily, with less strain, and you'll reach your destination with more strength left in reserve. That's what brown rice does. It supports your body so that every step you take in your 60s or 70s feels less heavy, more confident. Have you ever noticed that after a meal, instead of feeling nourished, you feel drained? If so, maybe it's time to return to brown rice, a humble grain that quietly fuels lasting energy and helps preserve your strength as you age. Now let's turn to another grain, barley. If you've ever enjoyed a warm bowl of barley soup on a cold winter's day, you know why this grain has been a companion to humanity for thousands of years. But what matters even more, especially after age 60, is that barley isn't just comfort food. It's a quiet ally that protects both your muscles and your heart. What makes barley special is its high content of beta-glucan, a rare type of soluble fiber. Think of beta-glucan as a shield. It helps stabilize blood sugar, preventing the spikes and crashes that leave your body tired and your muscles weaker. It also lowers cholesterol and improves circulation, ensuring that oxygen and nutrients actually reach your muscles. And when circulation is strong, every fiber of muscle gets the nourishment it needs. I remember Daniel, a 69-year-old former gym teacher. He said to me, "Doctor, I used to run for miles. Now I'm out of breath after just 10 minutes of walking. I feel like a shadow of the man I used to be." We started with a simple change. I suggested he replace part of his white rice and bread with barley, maybe a bowl of barley soup or a fresh salad with barley mixed in. At first he was doubtful, but a few weeks later he returned with a smile. "I don't know how, but I feel like my body has slowed down the aging clock. I can climb the stairs now without having to stop halfway." That's the quiet strength of barley. Not flashy, not immediate, but steady and reliable. Each grain, when cooked, becomes tender and flavorful while delivering magnesium and selenium, minerals that help muscles contract smoothly and protect against the slow wear and tear of age. Have you ever wondered what keeps a candle burning longer? It's not the brightest flame, but the steady wax that feeds it. Barley works the same way. It doesn't give you instant power, but day by day it fuels your body with stability. So you keep walking firmly, even as the years add up. Now let's move on to a grain that many Americans aren't very familiar with, but one that was considered a true treasure by ancient civilizations: amaranth. Long ago, the Aztecs regarded amaranth as sacred, using it in their most important rituals. They believed it gave strength to their warriors and endurance to their communities. And today, modern science confirms what they seemed to know all along. Amaranth has a unique ability to protect and restore muscle, especially in older adults. What makes amaranth stand out is that it's a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids, something very rare among grains. On top of that, it's rich in squalene and peptides, compounds that reduce inflammation, boost mitochondrial function, and directly activate muscle protein synthesis at the cellular level. In other words, amaranth acts like a reset signal, reminding your body how to build strength again, even when age has started to blur that memory. I think of Carol, a 70-year-old former dancer. She told me that these days, just pacing around her living room left her clutching furniture for support, her legs shaky and her back aching. One day her granddaughter, a nutrition student, brought her a bag of amaranth and taught her how to make a warm morning porridge with banana and cinnamon. Carol tried it, not expecting much, but within 10 days she felt her legs steadier when she stood. By the 3rd week, she was back to doing gentle stretches, and by the end of the month, she was glowing with pride when she told me, "Doctor, I've joined a slow dance class at the community center. I never thought I'd be dancing again." Amaranth doesn't just help rebuild muscle, it also protects the joints, eases cramping, and fuels your body with steady energy all day long. You can cook it like rice, turn it into porridge, or even pop it like popcorn. It's easy to add into your meals. Have you ever longed to reclaim something you thought was gone forever? Just like Carol with her dancing? Amaranth reminds us that sometimes a single tiny seed can reignite hope, restoring not only your strength, but also the joy of living. Now let's talk about a grain with a familiar yet misleading name: buckwheat. Even though wheat is in the name, buckwheat isn't related to wheat at all. In fact, it's a naturally gluten-free seed, and that difference gives it a special power for our bodies, especially after the age of 60. What has always impressed me about buckwheat is that it contains all 9 essential amino acids, including lysine, something most other grains lack. Together with leucine, lysine acts like a key that unlocks muscle protein synthesis. If you think of your body as a construction site in need of repair, then buckwheat is like having the complete toolkit. Nothing missing, everything you need to rebuild muscle brick by brick. I remember Tom, a 70-year-old retired mechanic. He had always been proud of staying strong and active. But lately, he told me, carrying just a few grocery bags left his legs weak and trembling, as if his strength had been drained away. He thought it was simply old age. Then his granddaughter, studying nutrition, made him a bowl of buckwheat porridge with vegetables and a touch of cinnamon. He tried it and kept eating it a few times a week. After just 3 weeks, Tom smiled and told me, "Doctor, it feels like my legs have woken up. I climb stairs now without fear of falling." Buckwheat also contains rutin, a powerful antioxidant that strengthens blood vessel walls and improves circulation. That means when you move, more oxygen reaches your muscles, helping them recover faster. For people struggling with joint pain or unstable blood sugar, buckwheat can be a gentle savior, easy to digest, calming to the body, yet deeply nourishing. Have you ever felt as though your body's very foundation was slipping away? When each stair feels like a mountain, and even small tasks leave you exhausted? Buckwheat is a reminder that sometimes the simplest, humblest seeds can rebuild that foundation. It doesn't just feed your muscles, it gives you back the confidence to take each step with steadiness and strength. So let me close this journey with you. We've just walked through 9 remarkable grains, from quinoa, oats, wild rice, soybeans, whole wheat, brown rice, barley, amaranth, to buckwheat. Each one is like a unique note in a melody. But when you bring them together, they form a symphony that nourishes the body. Some deliver complete protein, others provide precious amino acids. Some strengthen circulation, while others heal the gut so your body can truly use what you feed it. And all of them point to one single goal, helping you preserve muscle, regain strength, and live your later years to the fullest. I'll never forget what one patient once told me. "Doctor, I don't need to feel 20 again. I just want to stand up on my own, walk through the park, and not need my children to hold me up." Those words stayed with me. They remind me that health isn't something distant or unreachable. It's found in every bowl of food, every small choice we make each day. Sometimes all it takes is swapping white bread for whole grain, white rice for brown rice, or adding a simple bowl of quinoa or barley soup, and you've given your body the chance to rebuild itself. Have you ever asked yourself, what will life look like at 70 or 80? Will it mean relying on a cane, or will it mean waking up early, brewing your own cup of tea, walking the dog, and smiling as the morning sun fills your porch? I believe the answer lies in the choices you make today. Grains are not just food. They are the fuel of independence. And I want you to remember this. Your strength has not disappeared. It's simply waiting to be awakened. If you found value in what I've shared, try starting with your very next meal. And don't forget to pass this along to someone you love, because sometimes a single tiny grain can change the entire course of someone's later years. Additionally, we have a special gift just for you. Simply click the link in the description below and fill out the form to receive your gift today. We look forward to continuing this health journey with you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.